Hi guys, how are you doing? And welcome back. In this video, I am going to show you how to upgrade your pfSense firewall. And then you say upgrading a pfSense firewall, well, that's not very exciting. I mean, log into the interface, click on the upgrade option, and off we go. Well, I've been working in software for some time now, and I can tell you that's not always the case. In a lot of cases, it will not work that way. Right? It is not the next, and finish option in there. And especially if it is a critical infrastructure in your home, in your company, you need to make sure that you have a plan how to revert back if something goes wrong with the upgrade. How can I restore my previous configuration? Do I have my previous configuration? How do I reinstall the firewall, in this case pfSense Plus? How do I reinstall it? Do I have the correct files to reinstall it in case something goes wrong and the firewall doesn't come up? So, and also a very important part is make sure that you are aware of the bugs which are in this new version. Because if there are things in there which break functionality, something you use in your home, of course, don't install. But you need to be aware before you start the upgrade which bugs there are, if there is something that can break, if there is something which will affect how you work with the firewall with pfSense in your own infrastructure. So let me show you the steps I take, how you can prepare. Let's get into it. All right, here we are on my actual production pfSense firewall. So this is the main firewall in my home, and it is a white box firewall. You can see it's running the pfSense Plus edition. The reason why I'm still on the pfSense Plus edition for my home firewall is we all know that some time ago you had the option to upgrade your CE license with a pfSense Plus license for free. And that's what I did. And since then, I have been running the Plus version on my actual physical firewall in my home. The hardware is still the same, so that means every time there is a new update, the hardware ID does not change because I don't change my hardware. That means I get the option to upgrade to the next pfSense Plus edition for now. And there are some things for the pfSense Plus edition which I am using and which will help you actually to prepare for the upgrade. And I think that in the future, when I cannot use pfSense Plus, the free edition, which I have still, if I'm not able to use it, I will opt to pay for the basic version of pfSense Plus, because this is an option I frequently use. Now, there are some steps in preparing to upgrade your pfSense firewall. Like I said, it's not just click on the update here and then wait for the upgrade to finish. Packages will be downloaded and everything will be set up automatically. Well, in the perfect world, that would be the case, but we all know that software can play tricks on us, and we need to prepare for that. And the way I prepare for it is, well, first I'm going to the Redmine, the pfSense Redmine. This is a very good place to start and have a overview of what bugs there are in the current version and in the new version. In the new version especially, you need to be aware of the bugs there are there, because is it something that will break the upgrade for you? Is it something that, well, will prevent you from using some specific setting you are using currently? So make sure that you check this pfSense Redmine before upgrading. So this is the first step. Now, in my case, I told you guys that I'm using pfSense as well to watch television. And I have an ISP which is providing me with television. But that means that you have to do some IGMP configuration on pfSense. I also have videos on that. I will leave a link to that video below. In the current version, IGMP was broken. There was a patched version of the kernel made by a user from the community, and that made it possible to still reliably use IGMP and watch television. Now, I need to make sure that when I upgrade my pfSense from 24.03 to 24.11, that IGMP will still work. And as you can see here, this is a bug which was filed for the 24.03 version. And according to the Redmine, this should have been fixed now. So that's great news, because I need to make sure that I still can watch television after the upgrade. So this is something very important to make sure. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Be aware of the bugs there are in the current version, and be aware of the bugs you will introduce when you're upgrading to the newest version. Beforehand, as you can see now, I'm creating the video now, and the new version has been released now for a few weeks. I always wait a few weeks before upgrading, unless there is something important for me to upgrade. I just waited out a few weeks because during the few weeks, there will be enough information from the community telling you, or even Netgate telling you, guys, wait for upgrading, or there is something wrong, you need to patch it, you need to make sure that you're aware before upgrading. So wait a few weeks before upgrading, then come to the Redmine, check which bugs they are, and go to Reddit as well. pfSense has a very nice Reddit. There is a lot of interaction there from Netgate itself and the community. Check if there are issues there that people are talking about, and if it will affect you when you upgrade to the new version. This is one of the issues I was a little bit concerned about: high CPU usage if I upgrade from 24.03 to 24.11. But as it seems that this is not a bug, this is something that is affecting the lower end of the Netgate firewalls. It has to do with the refresh rate of the widgets in the dashboard. So I'm not afraid of that because I am running a Dell server as the hardware where pfSense is installed. It has enough capacity to run it, so I'm not concerned with the CPU usage. And then if you're not in the dashboard, the CPU usage will be normal again. So again, in my case, I'm aware of this IGMP bug, which there was in the 24.03 edition. And I need to make sure that it is not there anymore in the new edition. As it seems, it is not. It has been solved. So that's very good to hear or to read. And make sure that you are aware of discussions going on in the pfSense Reddit. Another place to start, of course, to be aware that some things, what is affecting the upgrade, how do you upgrade, are there some things you need to be aware of? Check the Netgate forums, and especially the problems installing or upgrading pfSense software section in there. Just read through those forums. If there are some things that trigger you, you can, if you have an account with a forum, you can of course follow those topics, those threads, and be aware of the development in there. So this is also something I'm looking at after I see that there is a new version of the pfSense software. So those are the things I prepare beforehand, read about it on the internet, and make sure that I am aware of the things which can go wrong or are wrong with the new version. Okay, so now that I have read up on the bugs which are there and the forums of pfSense, what I do as well is make sure that I am prepared if something goes wrong during the upgrade. The way to go to pfSense Plus, in case something happens and you need to reinstall because you're using a white box like I'm just using a Dell server. The way to go to pfSense Plus again is, of course, your hardware needs to be the same. If you have pfSense Plus, at the moment on a white box, you don't change your hardware. You just want to reinstall because something has gone wrong. Now, the way to do that is install pfSense CE, and in this case, as of date, that's 2.7.2. And once you have installed that, you will, and your firewall is online, your pfSense is online, you will get the option again to upgrade to the Plus version, because Netgate detects that the ID of your white box is still the same. You had a pfSense Plus license there, and it will offer you that again. And that's the way to upgrade to pfSense Plus. So what I'm doing here is making sure that I have the ISO for the CE version, the latest CE version, because I know that if I create a backup of the configuration for my current pfSense edition, that's for edition 24.03, if I have a configuration backup for this version, and I reinstall my firewall with that CE version, I can restore that configuration to that CE version. So that means the compatibility for the configuration is still there. That's very important to know, because once things go wrong and You have to reinstall. You will flash the ISO to a USB thumb drive in my case then, and I will boot my server from that USB thumb drive, install the CE version, and during that installation I will restore a backup of my current pfSense configuration. It will tell me that it is a configuration file from another version, but it will still give me the option to import it because the compatibility is still there. So that's also something to be prepared for. Have the ISO ready in case you do need to reinstall. So I have a directory on my desktop and I have that ISO in there. What I'm going to do now is create a current and the latest version of the backup. So let's go to diagnostic, click on backup and restore, and I want to create a backup, a configuration backup. I don't want to backup the SSH keys. Just when I need to restore, it will regenerate them, and that's fine. Make sure that you have selected the backup area is all. Of course, you can do a partial backup, but why would we? We want a complete backup of the configuration for the current version, because I need to make sure that everything I have set up, VLANs, rules, routing rules, block rules, everything is in there. So select backup area all, click on download configuration, and it will download it for me. All right. So let's have a look at the directory where I am prepared that in case something happens. I have the ISO, in this case it's the image file for the CE version, and then I have the configuration backup as well. So these files are now safe. If something happens during the upgrade, I can just reinstall pfSense, restore from backup, and then the upgrade option to pfSense Plus will be there again. The next option I use in pfSense Plus is the boot environment. So if you go to system and go to boot environment, you have the option to create a snapshot of pfSense for the current situation. And then if something happens, you just reboot and select that previous snapshot you made, and then pfSense will boot in that state again. So the nice thing is here that when you click on upgrade in the dashboard, the system will automatically create a snapshot for the current version with the current configuration. If something goes wrong, you can just revert easily back to that snapshot and the previous running version of pfSense. Very convenient and nice option to have. This is the option I was talking about that I use a lot as well. And also this is something I would gladly pay for because it gives me an ease of mind if I need to upgrade something in pfSense. Or if I'm doing big configuration changes, this will also help me to create some snapshots, manage them, and in case something goes wrong, I can just revert to one of those snapshots. Now, another thing that I also configure in my pfSense is, let's go to the dashboard, and let's go to System and then General Setup. As you can see here, I am using specific DNS servers for my pfSense. Those DNS servers are only reachable when these interfaces are up and running. And these interfaces are VPN interfaces. So make sure that pfSense can reach DNS servers. When you start the upgrade process, it reboots, it has to be able to reach DNS. So what I'm going to do here is I'm clicking on none and set this interface to none as well. And in this way, I can make sure that pfSense will just use the WAN interface and get to the DNS server. So let's do that. Click on save. Let's give it a minute. Okay, so that's done. Once you have set up the DNS servers to use the gateway is none, and when you set it to none, it will go to the WAN automatically. Make sure that if you go to your services, then go to DNS Resolver, because I am using the DNS Resolver option. The outgoing network is WAN. Set it to WAN, because if it reboots and pfSense is set to use Unbound as a DNS server, and it is set to use outgoing network interfaces specifically to prevent DNS leaks, and you have selected your VPN network interfaces, those interfaces are not there anymore, so pfSense will and Unbound will not be able to reach the internet in order to do DNS resolving. So set the outgoing network interface here to WAN as well. Of course, if you do this, chances are that you have a DNS leak during the installation or during the upgrade. So make sure that if there are services in your network which you don't want to leak DNS information, make sure that they are not able to reach the internet. Another thing also to be aware of are packages. As you can see here, I'm using pfBlockerNG, and I have disabled the DNSBL option because I don't want Unbound to have other components in there during the upgrade. Chances are that Unbound will get stuck during the reboot and the upgrade will fail. So just to be safe, I disabled that DNS option there. And the other option, the IP option, that's fine because that's just a firewall rule. If you want to be sure that this is not something that will break you the upgrade, if you don't need it, you can uninstall pfBlockerNG. And in another video, I showed you guys how to keep the settings of pfBlockerNG when you uninstall it. That means that after the upgrade, you go to the package manager, and if you want to reinstall pfBlockerNG, the configuration of pfBlockerNG will still be there. Click on that cloud option. You can see that the new branch is there. And now it tells me, okay, your current version, that's 24.03, and the latest one is 24.11. I want to confirm the update. Let's confirm it. And there the update starts. A very important part is now not to close this tab or close your browser. Leave this tab open so you can see the process. Do not refresh this page. Sometimes it will seem like it is stuck on some package. As long as there is no error on this page, just leave the page. It will refresh automatically itself. All right, so the system has downloaded, extracted, and replaced a lot of packages now, and it is going in for a reboot. During this time, do not close this window. Let it do its thing. It will take some time, depending on your internet speed, depending on the hardware you're running it on. Give it some time before we try to get back into the management interface. So let's wait for it to finish. So as you can see, the upgrade is still in a process. It is automatically retrying to get to that management interface. And now we are at that management interface. So the upgrade process is looking good. Let's log in with my credentials. And it is still doing some steps in there. So let it finish there as well. And let me see, I am on the 24.11 version, as I can see here. Let's see if everything is looking good. Let's wait for it to finish. I'm sure it is still doing some things in the background. You can see here, Unbound is not running yet, and it should start automatically. Just give it some time to finish up downloading packages and starting services, etc. And after a few seconds, when I refresh the page, I can see that Unbound is running again. If I scroll to the top of the page, I can see that the packages are fine there as well. And also, it is telling me now your version is 24.11 and you are on the latest version. So let's get back to the general setup in the system option. And once again, select my VPN interfaces. It has recreated them and the configuration is also up and running in there. So let's do that, set up that interface again for the DNS server. So that is fine, and click on save. And let's wait for it to finish. Once that is done, let's go to the services and go to the DNS resolver there and make sure that it is also able to use those interfaces again for not that one. Let's select the correct interfaces here. And the one I need is the Nordlinks one. And make sure that it is using the specific outgoing interfaces as well to prevent the DNS leaks. Of course, apply changes. And that's done. If we go back to system and to the boot environments, you will see that it automatically, before the upgrade, it automatically created a current version which was running before the upgrade started. It automatically did that. It is a snapshot, so it's very small. And of course, we can delete it if everything goes well. If you have a lot of snapshots and you want it to clean this up, you are able to delete it. And because it is running ZFS on the disk, it will merge them and you don't have to worry about that. So this is the option I was talking about. It is automatically creating that snapshot before starting the upgrade. So if something happens, it will revert back to that snapshot, or you can select it and revert back to that working snapshot again. So this is a very important option and very good to have for ease of mind. So a very important step to do after the upgrade is check if there are system patches for the new version you just installed. As you can see here, I am running the system patches package. This package is also available for the CE version. Make sure you have it installed in there. And if you go then to system and click on patches, you will see if there are patches available for the version of pfSense you are running. This is the way that Netgate is providing patches during a lifetime of a specific version of pfSense without having to release a completely new version. So make sure that you check out this patches page on a regular basis. Of course, you can see all those messages for new patches being available on the Redmine, but also on the forum or the Reddit thread. So be aware that this system patches option package, it's there. Install it and make sure that you visit it on a regular basis to install all those system patches. And that's it for the upgrade. We made sure that we are aware of the problems in the current version. Will it affect us or not? We made sure that we can reinstall in case something goes wrong. We made also sure that we have a backup of a running configuration in case we need to restore that running configuration. In case of pfSense Plus, you have that boot environment option. You know it will create a snapshot before starting the upgrade. Also something that adds to the ease of mind. If you have this way of working, I think it's a very good habit to have and approach every software upgrade in your environment. So I hope that you benefit from this video and make sure that you have a safe upgrade path for your pfSense. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something from this video. Don't forget to click on the like and subscribe button below the video. It helps my channel out a lot, and that helps me keep making these kinds of videos for you guys. If you have comments, leave it in the comment section below. Maybe you want to share how you approach the upgrade process of your firewall or critical software components you have. Let me know in the comment how you do it. And for now, take care and see you next time in the next video. Bye.